the number one silent killer in relationships with men is the shame that they carry. And it's crazy because it's so hidden that a lot of men don't even know it's there. And this could just show up in many ways in their life, but it shows up big time in their relationships. And I've been there too. Like, I've been a man that didn't know how to lead, that didn't know how to show up, didn't know how to express. I was very closed off. I was angry. I was defensive. Every time I was in the wrong, there was times where I didn't know what to do. Times where I just couldn't figure it out. And in those times, I felt like a damn failure.
You know what's sad? I know exactly what he's talking about, because I know that a lot of times in life, when you growing up, if you don't have a father around, and I gotta be realistic about this, and I'm a dad, so I can see a big difference from having a son and how he treats his mom compared to how he treats me. Treats us both good, but it's a different respect boundary when it comes to me. He can act a fool with his mom, but then when I'm right there, things change. He knows that I'm not going to play with him. But it's sad because a lot of men do grow up this way, and they tend to think that they are cool or they're going to be okay. But then what ends up happening is, with life, as you start to progress in life and you become older and you get into relationships, the way your mom treated you, the way she basically treated you as a son husband, it will show in your relationships. It will show that, you know what I mean, as a guy, you start to feel a lot different about the female he's with, because mom has a hold on him that tends to, it tends to kind of like hurt relationships, because a guy is not going to treat the girl that he's with like his mom. For some odd reason, moms seem to think that the way they raise their son's going to implement whatever they taught them over to the woman. That's why men are very valuable in their sons' lives.
Because society says that men are supposed to have it all figured out. Regardless of what y'all think, there are a lot of men trying to get it right. Some men haven't had a father in their life, and they're having to unlearn a lot of shit that's not theirs. They're learning how to feel, deal, and heal, so they can show up better in their life and relationships. A lot of men know that love matters to them, relationships matter to them. The sad part about it is there are a lot of men out here who can't put into words what I'm saying right now.
I don't want to keep stopping this, but one thing that he just said, and I didn't know he was going to mention the father, so I'm glad he said that. Men are not that far different from each other. But one thing I picked up on life, when I got a chance to bust it up with my pop, man, my pop is very tight. And one thing I realized in his life, when I thought he was a nobody, a deadbeat, I found out that I love my pop just as much as I love my mom. But at the same time, you love your mom a little different from you love your pop, and you love your pop different from you love your mom. It's a different relationship. It's not the thing of you love one less. It's just that it's a different type of relationship. And sadly to say this, you get a lot of kids that grow up and they don't quite understand the difference, because if one parent is not there, they're going to gravitate to the parent that raised them. Or put it like this, if one parent has been abusive and you have no other parent around, you're going to hate the parent that raised you, because they raised you not properly. They raised you the wrong way. They raised you to be hateful. And they treated you such a negative way, to the point you're going to have a negative look of your parenting, like the way you was parented. So I get what he's talking about, you know, and, man.
But they feel it, and they feel it internally, and it manifests externally. So yeah, it may show up as them being closed off, being angry or defensive. Or maybe they're trying to justify their bad behavior. But the truth is, a lot of men are hurt, and they're learning boundaries. They're learning how to heal. They're learning how to not be so anxious in a relationship. They're learning how to find their voice.
Now, when he talks about finding your voice, You ever notice that we are in a time now where as though we see a lot of bashing of men? I get it that women are sitting up there saying that men shouldn't talk bad about women, but this is the sad part. We have realized, a lot of men have realized women are really delusional. I'm gonna tell you how. And it's not a made up thing. They are very delusional. I'm gonna tell you how I realized women were delusional. It didn't dawn on me that women were delusional when I had my girlfriends, like dealing with different girls. It didn't teach me that. It taught me that it was delusional when I started peeping how my mom was reacting to certain things when she didn't get her way. So I never equated to my girlfriends because I looked at my mom as she was different. But then as you get older, you start to have more experience. You start to understand, wait a minute, I always looked at my mom as different, but my mom is not that different. She's no different than a female that I'm dating. Only difference is I look at my mom different because that's my mom. Men tend to look at their moms like they're different, like they're the be all, like that's the everything you live for. Until you realize when they start showing their ass, you start to understand and realize that, woo, I might got to cut my mom off for a little bit. Not leave them alone, but cut them off for a little bit. Same as when you deal with your girlfriend or you know what I mean? In some cases, it could be your wife. You have to actually get to a point where as though you start to set boundaries, because boundaries will be crossed when it comes to you know what I mean, when it comes to women and men. Women will straddle the line of disrespect until you put it back in order. That's why I understand when men start to feel like giving up on relationships. They give up because they feel like it's worthless. Because you're seeing a lot of men taking a blunt force of disrespect. When it comes to abuse, women it has been proven that women are more abusive. But the problem is, when it comes to men, since we're more dominant, no matter how you look at it, we're more dominant. We can kill you, hurt you badly with our hands. And so we tend to try to turn the cheek, or we might rough you up a little bit depending on what kind of guy you with. You gotta understand who you playing with. You can't smack everybody. So men start to not look at women the same, because this is where life has gotten us.
And that's a beautiful thing as well too. Men want to be the best partners that they can be. A lot of them don't know how, so they feel shameful. They're afraid to even speak up, and this can become so overwhelming because this is just how the story has been for men. And it's time to change. So I'm inviting you all in the process of undoing the programming, so we can be open to receive a new love. On God.
Now, this is one of the things about life that will teach you something very valuable when you're dealing with relationships, particularly when you come from your household of growing up and now you're into a full-blown relationship. So when you kind of look at relationships the way we're like the predicament that we're in today, you see why a lot of men today have a hard time opening up to their significant other, because a lot of times it's used against us. And it's not only used against us, it's used against us in a way where as though it makes us feel like we're belittled, to the point where as though we like, yo, fuck it, I'm not going to even say anything or open up anymore. And then when we start showing our ass and we start going into a position where as though we start looking at women as somebody that's our enemy, and then we become colliding enemies to the point where as though we don't even have a good relationship anymore. And it's sad because we are now whereas though women are now starting to complain about we don't approach. But then at the same time, you must have forgot all the times that all the women that blasted men, putting them on the ground and saying that he's a creep because he was looking at her. Like, men are very sexual creatures. Not to say that women are not. But it is shown, too, that women are no different than men. But the problem is, when a man does it, he's a creep. But when a woman does it, yo, she's showing you choosing signals. Come on, man. Like, we're in a place now where as though in America, in the United States, in the U.S., I can't speak for nowhere else, but when it comes to here, the women have shown that they are undesirable to most men unless they're showing something, or they showing the energy that a man is acceptive of, like the feminine energy. I'm not talking about just catering. I'm talking about having a good conversation. Now men really do look for a woman to have a good conversation, and we can bust it up with, have a good time, go for a walk, talk, coffee maybe. But the problem is, you got so many online blasting, talking about the old thing of no Cheesecake Factory. I'm not going here. I'm not going there. You thinking you going out to a dinner where somebody's spending $200? It's like reality is gone when it comes to the sense of getting to know someone. It's out of hand. So hopefully we can get this together.